What's up out there, all my inverted thinkers? Good morning, Darren Greenfield here with you from Invert Strategies, a strategy practice that helps you establish the clarity that drives your genius. I wanted to drop in today to talk a little bit about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I've been talking to some leaders of organizations, some leaders of teams, some people who are trying to bring DEI programs to their workplace, to their companies, to the markets that they're in, and they've been asking me, Darren, what is the right way to do DEI? What is the right way to do DEI? So I make sure that I'm getting results. I'm making sure that we are authentic in the way that we do DEI, and I'm making sure we are really going after the goal. Well, I know you've heard the term before. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. The 5 P's of life, that if you properly prepare, then the momentum will be on your side and you'll have less of a chance of performing poorly. Well, DEI, I believe, how I tell our invert clients or people that we're working with or who are just picking our brain, is that DEI also has 5 P's. They're not the same 5 P's of life, but they're the 5 P's of DEI. And I want to give them to you here. The first P is purpose. Whatever you do in DEI has to be sprung from purpose. Its foundation has to be purpose. DEI has to be connected to humanity and the concerns that are going on in the world. DEI cannot just be something that you throw up in your organization because it's sexy or it's cool or because you're going to get blasted or yelled at if you don't. DEI is not something that you just put in the midst of your organization because you want to be cutting edge. It has to be connected to some core things that are going on in humanity. You have to want to solve an issue, a problem, a thing that has been plaguing the culture where you're at. You need to, put your efforts forward to solve one of those things. So I tell organizations, when you're thinking about the right way to do DEI, I would pick one statistic internally within your organization and externally in your marketplace or outside of your organization, in your community, that you would want to change. And I will put your efforts in your organization and your people to start working or learning about that. Now, remember, we want to avoid the savior's complex and we want to be human. We want to get together with people to try to solve an issue in the world that directly affects one group of people, but indirectly affects us all. So the first P is purpose. The second P is plan. DEI has to be executed through a well thought out plan. Now understand this, when you're talking DEI, you're talking diversity, equity, and inclusion. All 3 of those are a heavy lift. All 3 of those, if you try to do something in each of those areas, all 3 of those could take months or years to get the momentum going. So what you want to do is you want to establish a plan. You want to establish a plan that's accessible for your people to jump on board. You want to establish a plan that's exciting. You want to establish a plan that has substance, and you want to establish a plan that is going to transform. You just can't jump into DEI work and begin to do things, just on a whim, or you can't be too wide. Your plan should help you slim some things down, should help you narrow your focus and do something that is really worth your while and matches up with your organization. The third P is person. After you understand the purpose, after you have had somebody help you establish a plan, or you established a plan yourself, you've done this inwardly, or you went out and got some consultant to help you do that, you need to find the right person. A person that lines up with the purpose, and a person who is able to establish and execute the plan that you have put together as a team, as an organization, as a business, as whoever you are. This is what happens in DEI a lot of the times. We know that we want to do DEI, but we don't know what our purpose or our plan is. And so we go hire the wrong person, or we go think about the wrong person. And when you're thinking about DEI at a high level, you need to have somebody that is not only able to understand DEI well, but they're able to implement it into a moving and multifunctional and nuanced organization. And they're able to not only lead those that follow, but they can lead leaders. You have to have the right person. If you get the wrong person, you're going to have a circle of failed DEI initiatives. You're going to think you want to do something. You're going to hire a person. You're going to butt heads on how you need to move forward with DEI. You're going to let them go, or you're going to part ways, and you're going to do that cycle all over again. That's why the beginning steps, I tell any organization, before you think about hiring a person, let me come in and help you establish your purpose and design a plan. Then once you design your plan, then you can begin to recruit and look for the right person. So the first P, purpose. The second P, plan. The third P, person. The fourth P of DEI, practice. And this just simply goes back to an old Barry White principle. You have to practice what you preach. You cannot sell dreams of DEI. You cannot be all in when it's time to talk. You cannot be, tell your people, man, we want to go after this. We want to try really hard. We want to really do some great things in DEI. And then when it's time to execute, or more so sacrifice in order to practice what you preach, you have to follow through with it. If you do not practice what you preach in the DEI area or many areas within your organization, you are going to lose buy-in, and your people are not going to think you are serious. And then the fifth P, proficiency. You need to grade yourself, or you need to have somebody looking from the outside into your organization to encourage you when you're doing well, to critique you when you're not doing well, and to show you how to get the best out of your team, your organization, your business, or whoever when you're on this DEI pursuit. DEI needs to be graded. Why? Because you want to be good at it. You just don't want to do DEI for DEI's sake. You want to be good at doing DEI. So you need to be proficient. That means you need to be reading up. You need to be bringing people in to teach your people or teach your leadership team. You need to know the trends and where DEI is going outside in the external trends and analysis. You need to know what your team needs internally in order to perform at a high level for DEI. You need to know what you need to change. You need to be thinking proficiency. Are we proficient in delivering great DEI culture within our organization? If not, what do we need to improve? If so, where do we encourage and congratulate, and how do we get better? So I just wanted to drop in to give you those 5 Ps: purpose, plan, person, practice, proficiency. Those are the 5 Ps of DEI. If you hit these Ps and are serious about these Ps of DEI, you will do DEI well. Well, man, we'll see you next time when we drop in to give you some tips on Let's Talk Strategy. Thank you for watching, and go out there and execute well in the areas of DEI within your teams, your organizations. Once again, Darren Greenfield from Invert Strategies, helping you establish the clarity that drives your genius. We'll see you next time.